Flosstube, welcome to Snickerdoodle Stitch. My name is Kathleen and this is a channel about cross stitch. So welcome back if you're returning, and thanks so much for visiting if it's your first time here. If you like my video, I'd appreciate it if you would like or subscribe. And I'm going to dig right in. It's later than normal. Excuse my wet hair. It's Friday night. I normally would have done this last night or hours earlier than it is, but it's just been a crazy week and I still have to work tomorrow. So it's probably going to be a short one, but I do have a good deal of stitching and I have a little bit of haul to show. Happy Valentine's Day. So today is Valentine's Day, and that's the first thing I'm going to show. I did some Valentine stitching this week, and these first few things are starts and finishes, but they're very small. And it is the Little House Needleworks Lovable Petites, and I had kitted this up last year. Is it going to focus? I had kitted this up last year and had not stitched it, and I remember I had some trouble finding fabric that I liked. I did it on two different fabrics, and they're two different counts, which is fine because it'll give me a nice variety in a dough bowl. Once I do FFO these, they're finished, but they're not fully finished. I did these two. This is on the called for red pear from Weeks Dye Works. Two of the smalls on that. And the color is going to blow out if I hold it up close, but they're just very sweet. They're little, not even quite 3 inches on 32 count, 3 inches square, but really happy with those. And I did a third one. This is on 25 count Lugana, or it's not actually Lugana. It is an even weave. It's stuff that I had bought some full yards of for $3 a yard. Talk about crazy. At AC Moore many years ago, they had these packages of Leisure Arts. I remember they had Leisure Arts tags on them, and it was full yards. So like 36 inches by 55 inches. And I have two packages of this berry color. And I just found another package of it, and I know some of it I ditched at Goodwill and wish that I had it now, although maybe not. I'm thinking it was the fabric that has a grid weave in it to make like an afghan, and you would put a motif in each of the squares, and I wasn't ever going to do that. So, but anyway, that's what this red fabric is, and I had cut a very large piece of this to do a Quaker on, or a very large Quaker piece that I wanted to do. And this is the edge that got cut off, and it was the perfect size for this. So this is from the same pattern pack, but of course this will be, you know, larger. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to FFO these, but I would like to go ahead and get them FFO'd here in the next month or so. I have picked some fabric out to put with them. I know I'm going to do little pillows of some sort, and this is a true berry. The red in here was not really a berry, but it was the right colors to go with the Weeks Dye Works fabric, the red pear. And so that's what I have picked out for some pillow backs or flat folds. I'm thinking probably small little pillows for one of my milk class things. I've got another finish, and I said my goal was to get this done far enough along that I could finish it in the fall. It's a gift for my best friend, and it is all bundled up from With Thy Needle and Thread. I love the piece. I didn't love stitching it. This was one of my Goldilocks pieces where it was too much of a single color, not enough counting. I like doing single color works, but the single color ones that I like doing require a lot of counting, and this was just a lot of single color. But I got it finished. So my goal was just to get a good start on the cardinal, and then I just kept rolling on it and got it finished. So I had to put in the snowflakes and the whole cardinal, and I think that was all that I had left. I mean, the cardinal is a lot. So really happy with this. And I'm gonna frame it, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna go ahead and frame it now, or I may actually store it this way and then frame it in the fall, just so that it's easier for storage between now and next Christmas. But really happy with this. This is on 32 count needle and flax Steinbeck. And last weekend I had the bright idea to go down, well, it was Super Bowl weekend. So I went down to Baltimore, went to Needlecraft Corner, and went to Stitching Post, was having a Super Bowl sale. And the trip turned out to be a bit of a disaster because I had Friday off work last week because I'm working tomorrow on Saturday. So I thought, okay, I'll go down. I was getting my hair cut Friday morning. I'm like, I'm going to get my hair cut, and then I'll run back to the house, pack up the car, and go down. I'll hit Needlecraft Corner, which is the northern side of Baltimore. It's around Towson. And then I'll go down, and I'm going to stay overnight, and then I'll hit up Stitching Post Saturday morning. And I had some other things I was going to do while I was in Baltimore. So I'm at Needlecraft Corner, and I'm talking to the owner, who's very sweet, very talkative, very sweet. And she said something about the weather, and I said, oh, but that's not till tomorrow night. And she's like, no, they changed it. It's in the morning now. And I started looking, and they had moved it up to 10 in the morning on Saturday. So I'm like, well, crap. Stitching Post doesn't open until 10. And at this point now, it's too late for me to get there on Friday. And I'm thinking, do I stay overnight? Do I just go ahead and head home? I decided to stay overnight after doing some looking at the weather reports in various places. It looked like it was going to start there at like 10, not up here in northern Delaware until closer to noon. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to keep a really close eye on the weather. And as soon as it starts to snow or get dicey, because they were calling for snow and sleet, freezing rain. And freezing rain is the one thing I don't want to drive in. And I thought, I will just hit the road as soon as the bad weather starts, and it'll be following me up. I'll be ahead of it, headed north. So went to Stitching Post. I never did see bad weather. It got bad. It started sleeting here around like 6 o'clock Saturday night. But I had plenty of time to shop at Stitching Post. I had a shopping list. I had some chronics I needed. I had a very specific list of things that I wanted to get when I was there. But anyway, what made me think of that, I did go ahead and buy, they had Steinbeck, which is what the snowman is stitched on. And anything that calls for like unbleached, like flax kind of linen, I love this Steinbeck. You can see it's got very, very subtle modeling in it. The color is almost the same as flax. It has a hint more gray in it. It's looking more gray on camera than it is in person. It is pretty true to flax, but it may just look like wrinkles on camera. But like over here, you can see these stripes. That's actually the modeling on it. So it's just very subtle. And white really pops on it. So I like it for things like the snowman. He's not in a true white, he's in grits. But I had just pulled out this pattern for Madame Chantilly. What is this called? Curious Rabbit. And it will look good on that Steinbeck. I will probably start this spring. I love this rabbit. He's just silly with that bulb on top of his head. So I bought that when I was down there. This next piece is another Valentine's piece. This one I started. I didn't get it finished. I thought I would. It is from Emily Call Stitching, and I still need to look her up. I got this when I was at Pine Needles in Salt Lake last year, and Pine Needles. It's the quilt and cross stitch shop. The owner is the designer of Pine Mountain Patterns. This is not hers. This is Emily Call Stitching, but this is where that's where I got it. And it's Be Mine. And they had this in a dough bowl stitched up next to the register in the shop when I was there last year. So it was an impulse buy at the register. But I started it. I got the little girl done. So I need to get the border done and the big Be Mine. I'm looking at it. I'm going to make some minor adjustments. And it actually, this looks like a rectangle, but it's 65 by 70. So it's almost exactly square. I'm doing some very minor modifications so that it will fit in a square. Ignore this mess over here. This was a piece of fabric I got in a D-stash, and the stitching, it was halfway done and it wasn't something I was ever going to stitch. And I cut chunks of the fabric off that were not stitched on and used them for dye experimenting. So there is some funny gray splotches on here. This didn't dye exactly the way I wanted it, but what I'm going to be using is a pretty small piece in here, so it's going to be pretty subtle. If you look at the back, it's really bad. See the gray? That was a failed experiment when I was first playing with it last year. I'm stitching it with the called for colors. It is 32 count linen. And she's been a fun little stitch. I got a little bored stitching the dress, but it went pretty fast. She's been fun. So I don't know if she's gonna get finished now. Today is Valentine's Day, so I'm kind of done the Valentine stitching. This next piece that I started, I would like to stitch on it some more because it's a snowman. She may get put away until next Valentine's. I don't know, we'll see. This one is Crochet A Go-Go, 2 hearts. I fell in love with this one when it came out last year. I don't think it came out at Market. I think it came out before that. In fact, I know it did because I got this when I was at Salty Yarns in February last year. And I love it because it's got the Valentine heart, but it also has the snowmen, because snowmen are what I'm in the mood to stitch right now. So I started this and I got one of the snowmen done, and the that's all the farther I got. It's actually a pretty, I mean, that's a dense stitched piece. He took me a few days, but really enjoying the stitch. I want to work on this some more. This is the one I was mentioning that is, I'll call it a Valentine's piece because it's got love and hearts thing happening, but it's snowman, and I would like to stitch on this one some more. I am stitching it on 32 count, and don't be horrified. It's the back of Vintage Stormy Night. Vintage Stormy Night. That sounds right. And this is the second time I've done this. So when I was at Stitching Post, because they've got a pretty big selection of Zweigart fabrics there, I asked them, did they know what the base was for this? What is Zweigart printing on? Because I'm pretty sure this is a standard gray. And if I buy some standard gray, it's cheaper than buying this. So we thought it was Mystic Gray. I didn't have this with me. And I bought Mystic Gray in 32 count, but it's not exactly the same. So I did some researching online. I think it might be Pearl Gray, but I have Needlework Extravaganza, the beginning of April, and that is from Needlework by Jim, is the sponsor for it, and they're Zweigart distributors for the US. So I'm pretty sure Jim will know right off the top of his head what the base is for this Vintage Stormy Night, so that I can buy just some plain gray. I mean, this I will use, but it's not the same gray. But this is not the first time that I have pulled this and stitched on the back. I've got a little dove Christmas piece. It's hanging in my kitchen now. That's stitched on this. I like it because look how the white pops. The white really pops on this gray, and this gray isn't too green. It's not too purple. So gray's kind of tricky. And this one is just, it's the perfect gray for me. So yeah, I'll be finding out what that is so that I'm not stitching on the back of the printed fabric. I do have a pretty big chunk of that printed fabric though. Anyway, I got more done on this one than I thought I was going to. So this is the Mirabilia Giggles in the Snow, and let me take it out of my bag. I picked up the beads that I need for it. And this is the pattern. I am not putting the words on, and I may not do all those splashes of snow. I mean, I do want the outline of the snow for the snow angel, but I might not do all of those. I'm not, yeah, like snow flying kind of things. And I'm not putting the word snow angels on. And my plan is to stitch it on a single piece of fabric and frame it in one with the girl and the boy just slightly like diagonally offset from each other. My goal this year was to get the girl done. And last time you saw it, she didn't have a head or feet. I had the whole dress done. And now I've got the head and the feet done. And I have started on the snow here. So I've got a little bit more of the snow angel shape to do up here. And then the girl will be done. So this is one very large piece of fabric. And my plan is that the boy would be, you know, not level with her, but up, or probably up, I think, a little bit on the other side. But loving this piece. It's so stinking cute and so much fun to stitch. I will say, this head, that took me an entire Sunday. I mean, it was literally like an entire Sunday. It was a day where I really didn't have much I had to do, and so I stitched most of the day and evening and got the head done. The face alone, so this little tiny face here, just the skin tones, is 7 different colors or blends. I had a lot of blends happening in the face and in the hair. So, yeah, it was a lot of color changes, but look at it. I mean, that's how you get that gorgeous shading like that. With the shadow in her neck. I could use a little bit more shadow in my neck. Yeah, it is on 32 count white. It's either Lugana or Jobelan. And just loving her. So at this point, I think what I would like to do this year, this year, is to get the snow outline, snow angel, you know, the marks in the snow done. And then I think I would like to go ahead and get the boy, like, figure out where that's going to be, the positioning, and do a start on it so that next year I would be ready to just start rocking and rolling, stitching on the boy. So I worked on this last winter and now this winter. Last winter I got the coat and the scarf and mittens done, and this winter I got all the skirt and the boots and the head. I would love to finish it next year, next winter. We'll see. I might get the whole boy done next year. That is actually all of my stitching, I think. Is that 7 things? I thought I was thinking I had 7, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, but 3 of them were the little tiny things. I do have a little bit of haul to show. Actually, I've got a freebie to show first. If you're not on her Facebook, I recommend, and I'm not really a Facebook, oh, there's my jury duty certificate. I'm not really a Facebook, I don't use Facebook, but there are a few shops or designers that I follow on there, and one of them is Shannon Christine Designs, and that was how I saw that she had this, although it's from 2021, and you can get it on her site in the freebies, and it's called Cotton. So it's a freebie chart. It's small, it's only 25 by 34, but how stinking cute is that little rabbit? I just love that rabbit. It would be such a quick stitch. It's DMC, I'm sure. It's a lot of DMC. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 and 8. It's about 17 colors on the 25 by 34 little rabbit. But again, that's how you get the shading and everything's so nice in there. So I think I'm gonna do this one. I did 2 of her little bunnies that were in mugs. Like one said Peep and I forget what the other one said. And I may do this one as a smaller little pillow to go in that same bowl. But that's just too cute. And it's a freebie pattern. Can't beat that price. I got the latest Cross Stitch magazine. And there are some issues of this that I look at and I think, there's not a single thing in here I want to stitch. This one actually has several really cute things, but I had 2 I was going to show. I'm not going to show everything in here. And this one I probably won't stitch, but it's so cute. It is from X Free Stitch. Look at that silly little bird. I just love him. It's probably the big eyes. The big eye thing makes me think of the old original Courtship of Eddie's Father, and Ron Howard doesn't like the girlfriend because he says she has squinty eyes. He likes the other lady because she has big eyes. Anyway, this one is gorgeous. It looks like this is going to be one of their pieces where you get a piece of the pattern in each issue. Good trick to, not trick, good tactic to keep you subscribing. It is from Sprouting Lupine, and I don't know that I will stitch this, but look how gorgeous that is. It's just bright colors, but they're soft at the same time. Just a really pretty piece. I don't really want to get into something this big. Full design, 18 by 14. Oh, I think it's Seasons, because it says spring portion 9 by 7. I should have read this a little more. I wonder if the other seasons were already out. Well, it doesn't say. And you don't want to watch me read. That's not why you're here, right? So what I just realized, this corner up here is spring. I think this is summer, winter, and fall. So I may have to see the other sections before I decide if I would want to do it, but I thought that was really sweet, so I thought I'd share that. I have a little bit of haul. Stitching Post had 20% off the whole store. So one of the things I did, you'll remember I was stitching this Erica Michaels Christmas Countdown, and I got the December done, and I don't like the colors. I don't really like my fabric either. It's a brand of fabric that is stiff and a looser weave, and so when I push my needle up through, by the time I bring my hand up around top to grab it, it just falls into my lap. So I'm not loving stitching on this. But mostly I didn't love the colors once I started it. So, you've seen that before. I did some digging around while I was there, looking at the I've got kind of a twisty mess. The Cottage Garden threads, and I picked out some retro. I wouldn't use both of these, it would be one, but I couldn't decide if I liked the light one or the dark one better. It probably depends on what fabric I end up with. But these are the colors. I want these brighter Christmas colors instead of these. And I'll be happier. Actually, I picked up a different green too, which isn't as bright as frog legs. It'll be either bean sprout, which is darker, or frog legs, which is brighter. And then I think this is, oh, Liberty. And then it'll be one of these two greens. So that's just going in the drawer till next Christmas. But I have the bright colors picked out now. I bought a couple patterns. Actually I did buy a few. I was having so much fun doing the Tiny Town winter one, which I stitched a bunch back right before Christmas, or last month maybe. And I'm not going to stitch on it anymore now, because I did decide, I started that at Stitch New Jersey last year, and now it's about 2/3 of the way done, and I want to finish it at Stitch New Jersey this year. But I had so much fun stitching on it. I love houses, but I don't generally enjoy stitching houses. It's too much one color, not enough counting for me. But the Tiny Towns are much smaller houses. So I picked up the Anytown and More Anytown, which are these two. This was the first one that came out, and this is the second one. I'm not going to stitch both of them, but I'm going to pull buildings from both of them. And look, this one, you've even got keepsakes with the little 310 cat sitting there. And the banner says keepsakes up there. So they have really cute, you got a pizza place, the movie theater says now showing, you got a quilt shop, toys, a church, I don't know what that is on the end. Oh, market. I probably won't stitch the market. Who wants a grocery store? Got an ice cream cart, books, keepsakes. Oh, barber, cafe, flowers. I probably won't do the barber. So yeah, my plan is to pick some, do one long skinny thing, mixing up the houses from these. And then I did buy a Mill Hill kit. I needed one of these really tiny ones to use for travel. So I picked that one up, the Christmas ornament. When I was at Needlecraft Corner in Towson, I've mentioned this before, when you walk in, the whole wall when you first walk in are all like clearance patterns, and she's got really nice patterns on that wall. I mean, current ones. So I picked up a couple hands-on design. I got Gathered Pumpkins. I had done Gathered Wildflowers last year in the summer, and I like the Gathered Pumpkins too. But this was half off. And then Spring Folk, I wanted to do this one, and this she had on the half off. I told her, why do you have that on the half off? Well, it's Easter. It's like the time people would be looking for something like this to stitch. But I had seen this one stitched in person, and it's really sweet in person. And so I was very excited to pick that up half off. And then I did pick up a couple of these bags in different colors. I normally make my own bags, but I do like these with the gusseted bottom. What I'm really liking these for are mirabilias, because like I've got my Giggles in the Snow here. There are so many colors of floss that it won't fit in one of my flat clear front project bags. But it fits very nicely in here, and actually then I always know if I'm spotting one of this kind of bag, I know it's one of the mirabilias that I've got in the works. They're sort of still organized seasonally, but it's really easy for me to grab it, and I know that's what it is. What else is in here? This last pattern, this I actually got from Garon. I had ordered some stuff a while ago, and I don't think I ever showed this, but it's Cabin in the Woods, and it's from Flossabilities. And I know they kept getting this in and getting this in, and it kept flying out as fast as they would get more in. It's very pretty. So, you know, there's nothing, well, I guess that is, no. Yeah, I guess it is snow. I was going to say there's nothing wintry about that. I think in my head it's winter, but I think the stuff in the sky is snow. Although if you didn't put all those little dots in up there, it would just be some stars and some trees and the cabin in the woods. Anyway, I'm going to see if I have anything else sitting here. Started looking at the things coming out at market. I've been starting my shopping list. Not that I need all of these or will necessarily buy all of these. They're just the things that I've seen that I really liked. And I'm not going to show you that whole list, but there was a couple I was going to show. I don't need anything else stitching related, but this pansy patch, a Stitcher's Tools, I loved. Sorry, I needed to look and see what else I had open there. And then I've done a couple of the Cotton Pixels, these little pillows with the little black cat, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to get this one and do that as well. I like the little British mailbox there. Gorgeous Rosewood Manor. Not entirely sure I will do that one. I've got a couple similar to that already that I need to do. This is one that I definitely want. This is the one I was going to show. It's Puntini Puntini, and look at that bunny. I like the cow and the sheep too. Sorry about the glare. The cow I would do for my sister-in-law. The sheep, I'm not sure what I would do. But the bunny is just too sweet for words. So yeah, they've started really flying out. I was bummed because I'm going to be in Phoenix in the first week of March, and I thought, oh, I can go back to the attic. Yeah, they're closed. That's market that weekend. So I won't be going to the attic on that work trip. I'm going to hit up a quilt shop when I'm there. And then later in March, I just found out yesterday I have to go to Las Vegas for work later in March. And I'm not going to have a lot of time when I'm there, but I do land in the morning and then don't think I need to be at anything until dinner time. So I'm going to do an Uber over to Stitcher's Paradise. Has anybody been there? It looks pretty cute online. I've been looking at pictures of it. They may have a dangerous amount of fabric from what I'm seeing in pictures that I can find online, but I'm planning to hit them up while I'm in Las Vegas, because unfortunately the Las Vegas trip is bumping up into a weekend where I'm supposed to be with my quilting friends locally, and I'm not gonna get my flight won't land until 8 o'clock-ish Friday night, and so it's a couple hours for me to get to where my friends are going to be, and I was to be there with them all weekend, but it's looking like I may only be able to go up Saturday for the day. So that's kind of the bummy thing, but trips to Vegas, that doesn't come up for me very often. I had different roles at work where I did get to do that kind of travel, but it's been a while, so. Only other thing I worked on, I showed a couple times ago a pillow that I had stitched years ago for my mother, and I said I was going to tear the pillow apart. It was dirty, it was dated looking, it had some really 1980s lace on it. So I did take it apart, and I soaked this in a cleaner that's called Restoration, which is fantastic for cleaning vintage linens and things. It came out fairly clean, and when I first got it out, it has faded some. I don't think, well, yeah, there you can see how it was brighter blue on the back. But when I tore it apart, I was like, oh, the back is really blue and the front was kind of tan. Well, once it was cleaned, the front is more blue looking now. And I dug in my stash and found some fabric because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, but I'm going to make a project bag out of it. It's not something I want to hang here, but I don't want to get rid of it. I had stitched it for my mom. So yeah, that'll be a project pouch at some point here. And that's everything I've got this week. I was hoping this would be shorter. It looks like it is, and I'm trying to think if anything else is going on. I don't think it is, and I don't have any trips or away plans in the next 2 weeks. So next time you see me, it should just be a lot more stitching. And then my trips start, because I have Phoenix for work, then I've got Vegas for work, then I have Needle Fest Extravaganza, then Acorns and Threads Retreat, and then Stitch North in Toronto. It's gonna start boom, boom, boom. I feel like I've gone all winter without really going anywhere, and now March, April, into the first week of May are going to be a little insane, but I wasn't planning on 2 work trips happening in there. Yeah, so I think that's everything for this week. So everyone, I hope you're enjoying your stitching. Love to know what you're stitching on, and I am going to catch up on comments this weekend, so I'll be replying to comments. I have read them. I'm just terrible about replying to them. I think it's because I do email. My job is a lot of email, and by the time I'm done with email for work all day and the hundreds that I go through in a day, I'm kind of done with that. But I am catching up this weekend. So, yeah, I think that's everything. I'm just stalling now. So everybody have a fantastic week. Stay warm. I hope you're getting whatever weather you want. I'm getting snow a lot this winter, and I love it, but I know not everybody does. So I hope wherever you are, you're getting the weather that you enjoy. And I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks again for visiting. Bye.